You know that feeling, right? You're finally on vacation, maybe somewhere amazing, sun's out, great food, and yet your mind just leaps ahead. What's next? Where are we going tomorrow? Oh, hang on, I need to book that thing for Wednesday. Or even, just a quiet Sunday afternoon. Instead of just being there, your thoughts are already racing. Next week's tasks, the next big trip you're dreaming about. It's this kind of restless hum. This constant craving for the next thing, even when you're supposed to be enjoying right now.
It's incredibly common, that experience, and honestly pretty uncomfortable for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It actually reminds me of the ancient Stoic philosopher Seneca. He quoted Lucretius saying, "Thus each man flees himself."
Frees himself, wow.
Yeah. Seneca's big insight was that our unease, that restlessness, it isn't really about the external stuff, the job, the city, whatever's going on around us. The real difficulty, he argued, lies within. You can change your scenery 1,000 times, cross oceans, whatever, but you can't actually escape yourself. That constant need for the next often signals something internal is going on.
Yeah.
Like a feeling that where you are, or maybe who you are, isn't quite enough.
So it's less about finding a new place to go and more about building a different kind of self. Self you don't feel that urge to escape from. And that right there, that's really the heart of our deep dive today, isn't it?
Absolutely.
We're going to unpack some practical insights from various sources, hopefully guiding you on how to build a life. And maybe more importantly, a sense of self that you genuinely don't want or need to flee. A life filled with purpose and real fulfillment. So let's dig in.
Let's do it. Yeah, the journey towards a life you actually savor. It really begins by forging an inner compass. And one of the most powerful tools for this, often overlooked, I think, is creating a personal mission statement.
Interesting, because when people hear mission statement, you immediately think like corporate speak. Right. Office poster.
Right, yeah, corporate jargon.
But for a personal life, how would you define that simply? What's its main job?
Think of it like your internal North Star. That's how I like to put it. It's a clear, short summary of your core purpose and what your priorities really are.
Okay.
It acts as both a map showing where you intend to go and a compass guiding your decisions, moment by moment. What's really insightful about crafting one is that it forces you to hit pause on the daily chaos, the whirlwind, and actually define what genuinely matters to you.
That takes time, I imagine.
Oh, it's not a quick thing, no.
Yeah.
It needs some honest reflection on your deepest values. But once you have it, it becomes this powerful filter. You can ask yourself, does this decision, does this activity, does it align with my mission? And if not, it helps you say no, which is huge. It fosters accountability, guides your growth. Just be short, maybe 1 to 3 sentences, action-focused, and something you look at often. Tweak it as you evolve.
And that reflection on deepest values you mentioned, that sounds like the absolute foundation, right? If the mission statement is the compass, values are maybe what calibrate it.
You're just spot on.
Yeah.
So what exactly are personal values? And why are they so important?
Well, personal values are basically the fundamental beliefs, ideals, principles, the things that matter most to you. And they are deeply, deeply unique to each person.
Right.
For one person, it might be, say, family and security. For someone else, maybe innovation and freedom. We're talking about core concepts like honesty, knowledge, health, achievement, respect, creativity. You get the idea.
Yeah.
The real insight here is just how profoundly they impact your life. They're not just nice ideas. They are your key drivers, your motivators. They subconsciously shape almost every decision you make.
Wow, really? Even small ones?
Absolutely. From like what you choose for breakfast to massive life choices like a career path. When you live in alignment with your values, you feel that authenticity, that sense of peace. But when you deviate even a little bit,
that's when the discomfort creeps in. That's often when you feel that gnawing stress or dissatisfaction, that subtle urge to escape we talked about. Identifying these values, it's a process, sometimes needs structured exercises, but the clarity it brings is just immense.
Okay, so we build this inner compass mission, values. How do we then translate that into doing something, into actual action? This is where goal setting comes in, isn't it?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Goal setting bridges that gap. It takes you from abstract purpose to concrete progress.
All right.
It creates a clear sense of direction, helps you see the bigger picture of your life unfolding. What people sometimes miss is that goals aren't just about achieving stuff. They provide crucial motivation and a sense of control over your future. They're your vision, made tangible, but they need structure to be truly effective.
Which brings us to?
The SMART framework.
Ah, yes. SMART. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. It sounds so logical, almost like common sense. But is there more to it? Why is it so effective?
It's definitely more than just common sense. It's grounded in solid psychology. I mean, over 1,000 studies show that having high and specific goals dramatically improves performance, persistence, motivation.
1,000 studies, wow.
Yeah, it's robust. The key insight, I think, is that by making a goal specific and measurable, you're not just setting a target, you're actually activating your brain's problem-solving circuits. You're kind of pre-wiring yourself for success because you're forcing clarity on the path forward.
Can you give an example?
Sure. So instead of a vague goal like improve customer satisfaction.
Right, which could mean anything.
Exactly. A SMART goal would be something like increase customer satisfaction scores, as measured by our quarterly survey, by 15% within the next 2 quarters. See, that level of definition tells your brain exactly what success looks like and when.
That makes it so much clearer, yeah.
Yeah.
So once you have that sharp, SMART goal, what are the best steps to actually achieve it? Because writing it down is one thing.
Making it happen is another.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Execution is everything. And while there are lots of steps, let's focus on a few that really seem to make a big difference for people trying to build this kind of life. First, visualize success.
Okay. The power of imagination.
It's not just fluffy thinking.
Yeah.
Actively imagining achieving your goals using all your senses. It builds confidence. It clarifies exactly what you're striving for. Many top performers use detailed personal vision statements to really lock this in.
And what about actually writing things down? I've heard that's surprisingly powerful too.
It truly is. So,
Okay.
Second, write down your goals. There's research by a psychologist, Gail Matthews, showing this significantly increases your chances of accomplishment. Just the physical act seems to solidify commitment.
Interesting.
And here's a vital addition. Share them with an accountability partner, a friend, family member, coach, whatever. That external commitment adds a layer of motivation that can really pull you through when things get tough.
Makes sense.
And speaking of tough spots, third, identify potential obstacles proactively. Most people just hope problems won't pop up.
Yeah, cross your fingers.
Right. But the really successful approach is to anticipate them. List possible barriers, lack of time, resources, motivation dips, and brainstorm ways to mitigate them before they hit. It makes challenges way less intimidating. You feel prepared, not derailed.
That's powerful, preparing for the storm instead of just being surprised by it.
Exactly. And fourth, maybe the most vital, reflect and adjust. Too often we see having to adjust our plan as failure.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like you didn't stick to it.
But life isn't static. Things change. Your goals might need to adapt too. Regularly review what's working, what isn't, and be willing to tweak your plan. This iterative process, this flexibility, is how real sustainable progress happens. It stops you feeling stuck or, again, needing to escape the current reality because it's not working perfectly.
This whole roadmap for purposeful living is, wow, incredibly valuable. But let's shift gears just a little, because purpose alone, even with great goals, maybe isn't enough to build a life you savor every single day.
That's a great point.
It's also about cultivating daily joy, right? Inner energy. And that brings us to a concept many people have heard of, but maybe don't fully grasp. Ikigai.
Ikigai.
Yeah.
Yes, a truly beautiful Japanese concept, and sadly one that's been, well, wildly misinterpreted in the West quite often.
How so?
It often gets mashed up with that popular Venn diagram you see online, connecting your passion, mission, vocation, profession.
Oh, yeah, the 4 circles, what you love, what you're good at.
Right. What the world needs, what you can be paid for. Finding the sweet spot in the middle. Well, that diagram actually originated from a Spanish astrologer, believe it or not. It wasn't originally Japanese or about ikigai.
No way. Really?
Yeah. People think ikigai is about finding some hidden destiny or being hyperproductive or that it has to be linked to your career.
So if it's not that grand career intersection, what is the authentic meaning? What's the real insight behind ikigai?
The word ikigai translates most closely to reason for being, or maybe reason to get up in the morning. It's about anything that makes your life feel worthwhile, big or small. Anything that makes you feel happy and grateful to be alive.
Okay.
And the crucial distinction is, it pertains more to your daily life than some singular, grand, lifetime mission. It's often found in the small, subtle moments that make waking up worthwhile.
Like what, for example?
Oh, think about it. The aroma of your morning coffee brewing. A genuinely cheerful greeting from a coworker. A spontaneous laugh with a friend or partner. Watching your kids play. These are all valid forms of ikigai.
So it doesn't have to be world-changing.
Not at all. And it's usually not work-related. In fact, research in Japan suggests only about 31% of people find their ikigai through their job. It almost always comes from multiple sources: hobbies, relationships, those small daily interactions, and sensory pleasures.
Wow, okay. That completely reframes it. It makes it so much more accessible, less daunting than finding the one big thing.
Exactly. It takes the pressure off.
So how do we actually cultivate this daily reason for being?
Well, Ken Mokoe, a Japanese author who's written a lot about this, breaks it down into 5 pillars.
Yeah.
They offer some really beautiful insights. The first pillar is start small.
Start small.
Yeah. Focus on routines, tiny positive actions. It could be the care you take preparing your breakfast or going the extra mile for someone in a small, unprompted way. These little daily rituals, they ground you. They add quality.
Okay, I like that. What's next?
Second is release yourself. This is about letting go of ego, releasing the need for external validation, enjoying a hobby just for the pure joy of it, without worrying about how good you are or who sees it. It's about embracing who you are, imperfections and all, not taking yourself quite so seriously.
Releasing yourself, that resonates. Letting go of that pressure. What are the other pillars?
Third is practice harmony and sustainability. This involves connecting with nature, with your community. It could be something simple like choosing to walk part of your commute instead of driving,
Right.
or joining a local club or group activity. It's about finding your place within the larger ecosystem, feeling connected.
Right. Connection is key.
Definitely. Fourth is focus on the joy of small things. This is a conscious effort. You have to actively recognize and savor details you might otherwise just rush past. The warmth of the sun on your face, the specific taste of a familiar dish, even something silly like getting a free fortune cookie with your takeout. It builds this sense of inner abundance.
Paying attention, basically.
Paying attention, exactly. And finally, fifth, be in the here and now. Immerse yourself fully in reality as it is. Try not to rush through life constantly thinking about the next thing. Practice non-judgment, maybe some mindfulness or meditation. Ultimately, Ikigai teaches us that fulfillment isn't some far-off destination. It's something you can earn each night by being present and making an honest effort in the small moments of each day.
That sense of savoring the small things, being present. It ties in so perfectly with the power of gratitude, doesn't it? If Ikigai helps us notice life's little joys, maybe gratitude helps us truly appreciate them.
Absolutely. They work hand in hand. And Robert Emmons, who's one of the leading researchers in this field, defines gratitude beautifully. He says it involves, 1, affirming the good things you've received, and 2, this is crucial, acknowledging the role that others played in those blessings. It's not just about me, it's about us.
Okay, and the benefits. I hear they're pretty staggering.
Oh, the scientific evidence is just astounding. It really is.
Lay them on me. What kind of impact are we talking about?
Okay, well, for mental well-being, it's a profound mood booster. It reduces stress, increases optimism, joy, pleasure. It directly lessens feelings of loneliness and isolation. There's even evidence that helps combat depression and strengthens what psychologists call positive recall bias.
Positive recall bias. What's that?
It's basically your brain's tendency to recall and focus on the good stuff, even when things are tough. Gratitude helps build that mental muscle, making you more resilient.
Wow, that's incredible. And physically, does it actually affect physical health too? It sounds almost too good to be true sometimes.
It really does. But the data is compelling. Gratitude is linked to things like a stronger immune system, significantly better sleep patterns, even reduced physical pain in some studies.
Seriously?
Seriously, it literally seems to calm the nervous system. We see links to lower blood pressure, increased vagal tone, which is tied to better emotional regulation. Some studies even suggest it nudges people towards healthier eating choices. It's quite holistic.
That's amazing. And relationships. I have to imagine it's a game changer there.
Oh, without a doubt. There's a theory by researcher Sarah Algo called the find, remind, bind theory.
Find, remind, bind.
Yeah. Gratitude helps you find good potential relationship partners you notice kindness. It reminds you of the value in your existing relationships. You appreciate people more. And it binds you closer by motivating you to invest in those connections, to give back. It fosters deeper connection, improves communication, starts this wonderful upward spiral of generosity. It makes families closer, friendships stronger. It's profoundly simple, yet so effective.
Okay, I'm sold on the benefits. So how do we actually do gratitude? It's one thing to understand it, another to weave it into daily life.
Great question. There are lots of practical ways. You can start with simple daily practices, like be really intentional with your thank yous. Don't just mumble it, mean it. Maybe pick just one interaction each day, big or small, and genuinely reflect on why you're thankful for it, and maybe even express that thanks again later.
Conscious thinking.
Exactly. Another really powerful tool is gratitude journaling, writing down specific things you're thankful for. Research suggests doing this maybe 1 to 3 times a week might be optimal for sustained benefits.
Not necessarily every day.
Maybe not. The key seems to be depth over breadth. Don't just make a long list. Describe why you're grateful for something specific. Connect it to people. Try the subtraction technique too.
Oh, what's that?
You imagine what your life would be like without certain good things or people. It really highlights their value and makes you appreciate them so much more intensely.
Wow, that subtraction technique sounds brilliant. It really makes you feel the impact of what you have, rather than taking it for granted.
It really does. Another approach I like is sensory meditation. Just take 5 minutes. Anchor your gratitude in the present moment. Notice things around you that you appreciate through sight, scent, sound, touch, maybe even taste.
Grounding it in the senses.
Precisely. And other simple tips. Use visual reminders, a note on the mirror, a picture. Remember past difficulties sometimes to appreciate the contrast with the present. Consciously use grateful language. And even just go through the motions sometimes, like making yourself smile or writing a thank you note, can actually start to shift your internal state towards feeling more grateful.
Okay, this is all incredibly helpful. As we're talking about purpose, daily fulfillment through ikigai, gratitude, it brings us to another really fascinating area from psychology, self-determination theory. You mentioned earlier, it's not just about how much motivation we have, but the quality or type of motivation that matters.
Yes, this is such a critical distinction that often gets missed. Self-determination theory, or SDT, basically proposes 2 main types of motivation. First, there's autonomous motivation.
Autonomous, meaning self-driven.
Exactly. It's driven by your internal volition, by genuine self-endorsement. This includes intrinsic motivation doing something because you find it inherently interesting or enjoyable, or it could be extrinsic motivation that you've really thought about and deeply value so it feels like your own.
Okay.
The huge insight here is that this type of motivation leads to greater psychological health, more effective performance, better long-term persistence, and this is key for our topic. It actually enhances your energy and vitality. It doesn't drain you, it fuels you.
Hold on. So doing things because you genuinely want to, or because they align deeply with who you are, that actually gives you more energy rather than taking it away. That feels counterintuitive to how many people experience their daily tasks.
It often does feel counterintuitive.
Yeah.
But that's the finding. Now, compare that to controlled motivation. This is driven by external pressures like rewards or punishments, or by internal pressures like seeking approval, avoiding shame, boosting ego.
Right, doing things because you feel you have to, or should.
Exactly. While it can certainly get things done in the short term, SDT research shows it often leads to more rigid functioning, diminished well-being, and it actually depletes your energy over time.
Yeah.
It's draining.
That makes so much sense when you put it like that.
And the theory posits that this all hinges on 3 universal basic psychological needs. These are fundamental for thriving across all cultures. They are. Autonomy, the need to feel a sense of volition and control over your own actions.
Okay.
Competence, the need to feel effective and capable in what you do. And relatedness, the need to feel connected to and cared for by others. When our actions and environment support these 3 needs, we experience autonomous motivation and greater well-being. The profound insight is that genuine vitality comes from activities that feed these core needs.
And how do our aspirations, like our big life goals, fit into this picture?
They connect directly. SDT distinguishes between intrinsic aspirations, things like personal growth, developing deep relationships, contributing to the community.
Things that seem inherently valuable.
Right. These tend to lead to greater health and well-being because pursuing them directly satisfies those basic psychological needs for autonomy, competence, and relatedness.
Okay.
Then there are extrinsic aspirations, things like pursuing wealth, fame, or image. SDT suggests these are often need substitutes.
Need substitutes.
Yeah. People might pursue them hoping they'll bring happiness, but they don't genuinely fulfill those core psychological needs. In fact, focusing too heavily on them can even detract from pursuing activities that do satisfy those needs. So the crucial point for our conversation is this. Actions that satisfy your basic needs, driven by autonomous motivation, are vitalizing. They literally enhance the energy you have available for living your life, for self-regulation, helping you sustain purpose and fulfillment without feeling that constant drain, that need to escape.
Wow. It all flows together so beautifully, doesn't it? It offers this really holistic framework for changing how we live, really from the inside out.
Hmm.
It actually reminds me of the GAPS approach I read about: gratitude, appreciation, presence, smiling. It seems to integrate so much of what we've discussed.
That's a wonderful, simple framework, yeah. It really captures how these pieces work together to shift that feeling of burnout or restlessness
Yeah.
towards genuine fulfillment. By actively fostering gratitude, like we talked about, and practicing presence mindfulness, you directly reduce stress.
Yeah.
You increase well-being. And that helps you reconnect with your deeper purpose, your values, your ikigai. It makes daily life something to actually savor, rather than something you're constantly trying to escape. When your daily actions, even your work tasks if possible, align with your strengths, your passions, your values, well, that drives engagement. And engagement is really the ultimate antidote to that restless urge for the next thing.
What a journey we've taken in this deep dive, starting from that subtle, maybe sometimes overwhelming urge to escape,
Hmm.
to understanding that the real pursuit of fulfillment isn't about frantically changing our external world, but about this careful internal cultivation. We've looked at forging that inner compass, defining purpose through mission statements, understanding core values, setting smart, intentional goals.
Yeah, building the foundation.
Exactly. And then we explored how to cultivate that daily joy, understanding the true, simple meaning of ikigai, tapping into the profound, scientifically backed power of gratitude, and harnessing the vitalizing effect of self-determined, autonomous motivation.
It really does come down to building a life and, maybe more importantly, building a self that you just don't feel the need to flee from.
Yeah.
The ultimate destination, it isn't some external place you're rushing towards. It's an internal state that you cultivate day by day.
All right.
It's about learning to be present, making an honest, intentional effort, especially in the small things, and living life one day at a time, earning that deep sense of fulfillment each night, rather than constantly chasing it somewhere else.
So, as you, our listener, reflect on all of this, maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. What one small intentional shift in your daily awareness, or maybe in your daily actions, can you make starting today? What tiny step can you take to begin building a life that you deeply savor, rather than one you're constantly seeking to escape?